Hello, second graders. Today I want to teach you two ways to subtract using an open number line. One of the ways is counting backward on a number line, because you're subtracting, you're taking away, and the other way is counting up on a number line. And I'm going to show you both ways. So we're actually going to use the same problem to experiment with both of these. So we'll try 27 minus, let's do 15 equals question mark. We're starting with kind of smaller numbers, and then we'll try one example with bigger numbers. So I've got my number line. If I'm going to count back on my number line, I'm going to look for my biggest number. That's 27, and I'm going to put it at the high end of my number line because I'm only going to go down from here. Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to subtract 15. How do I want to break that apart into chunks that make it easy to subtract? Well, I know that if I subtract 10 from 27, if I break my 15 into 10 and 5, then I can say, okay, well, minus 10 equals 17. I take one away from the tens place. So two tens minus 1 10 is 1 10. 27 minus 10 is 17. Now I still have to subtract this 5. Now I see I have a 7 in the ones place here, and I just need to subtract 5. So I'm left with 2 because 7 minus 5 is 2. Now I still have my 110, so 17 minus 5 is 12. That's counting backwards on the number line. We broke 15 into some chunks that made it easy to subtract. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to do that same problem but counting up on the number line, because that can be a really useful tool sometimes too. Give me a second to erase, so give me one moment. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to draw my number line again. And this time, I'm not going to start with my bigger number. I'm going to start with my smaller number, and I'm going to count up until I get to my bigger number. So I'm going to start down here at 15, and I need to get to 27. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, how can I get a little closer? Well, if I want to get to 20, I might just add 5. 15 plus 5 is 20. And then I'm really close. I just need to add 7 more to get to 27. And now I'm at 27, and now I just have to look at these two numbers that I added up, and that's the difference between 15 and 27. It was the same thing when we went backwards. 5 plus 7 equals 12, and when we jumped backwards from 27 to 15, we jumped backwards 10 and then 2. Or we jumped backwards 10 and then 5, and we ended up at 12. So our answer to this problem is 12. Now let's try with some slightly bigger numbers, because I think you guys are ready for the challenge. I'm actually going to clear this whole thing off. Okay, so let's try 178 minus 94. Equals question mark. Again, I'm going to draw my number line. I'm actually going to draw both of them right now so that we can see the comparison, what it looks like to count back and count up. If I'm counting back, again, I start with my highest number, and I'm going to count back by my lower number. So I have to subtract 94 from this number. The first thing I want to do is subtract my 4. And that kind of gets my ones place out of the way, and let's deal with that now. So I'm going to subtract 4. 178 minus 4 is 174. So I've subtracted my 4. I still have 90 to go. Well, I might think to myself, well, 90 can be made up by 70 and 20. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 70. I'm going to make a big old jump. Minus 70. And now 174 minus 70 is 104. Now I still have this 20 to subtract, so I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. I'm going to say, okay, well 20 is made up of 4, so I see that 4 in my ones place, and 16. So I'll subtract 4 again, and I'm going to get to 100. Now I just have to subtract 16, so I'll do a jump of 10 and a jump of 6. So 100 minus 10 equals 90, and 90 minus 6 equals 84. That was a lot of steps to get there, but I found out that 178 minus 94 equals 84. Now let's see if we can do this more easily counting up. So we're at 94. We're going to start with the lower number, and remember we want to get to 178. Let's add 6 first. Just get to 100. Okay. Then let's add 70. Okay, because now we're at 170. And all we have left to do is add 8 to get to 178. Wow, that was a lot fewer jumps. Now, all that we have left to do is add up the, I'm going to use red for this, the 8, the 70, and the 6. Well, 70 plus 8 is 78. Switch to black again. 78 plus 6. Well, 6 can be broken up into 2 and 4. I'm running out of space here, but 78 plus 2 is 80. Back up, back up. And so, I'm going to move down here. So, 80 plus 4 is 84. I'm out of space. 76 or 78 plus 6 equals 84. So we got the same answer, and it took us way fewer steps to get there. So sometimes it makes sense to count backwards, and sometimes it makes sense to count forwards, and you kind of get to decide which one seems easier to you. I love the counting up method on the number line because it's really easy. It's easier for me to add than it is to subtract. And so if you find the same thing, that it's easier to add than it is to subtract, I recommend counting up on a number line, but you can always count back too. I attached a couple worksheets that you guys can try this out on. One's got 2-digit numbers and one gets into 3-digit numbers, so you can challenge yourselves. Always pop into my office hours if you are having some problems and you need some help. I can talk you through this a little bit more. Or your teacher's office hours, I should say. And your teacher can happily talk you through this. Good luck. Have fun.